Welcome to the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent.
Steve, good afternoon. Welcome back, buddy, to the Friday at 4 podcast series. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. How are you?
Yeah, fantastic.
Good
Another
stuff.
good week.
Good
Very
stuff.
busy. Making progress on episode 10,
Okay.
and I've actually have progress on businesses for episode 11. So yeah, it's things
Ooh,
are yeah.
nice.
Episode 10 is very interesting to say the least. I can't wait to get it uh published and put out the end of the month because yeah, that's all I'm gonna
Okay.
say.
I'll
Yeah.
take your word for that, right? Still waiting for it.
Yeah. It's
Good
been
stuff.
fun. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So here we go. Building a resilient team in an unstable economy. Keeping morale when layoffs, inflation, or uncertainty loom. What do you think about that?
You mean kind of sort of like what we're going through now?
No. We're going to
Nah,
that
no,
now?
not at
No.
all.
Nah.
Nah. It's a great topic. I don't believe that we talked about this in at least as length as we're going to talk about today, earlier on. But in a challenging economy, which we know we live in today, I mean, let's just not beat around the bush. We know it's challenging. Um, there's all kinds of things that come into play. We have a large workforce. We have a shrinking employment numbers, or higher inflation, not inflation, higher unemployment rates, so shrinking numbers of people working. Um, Sometimes it's planned, sometimes it's unplanned, depending on the economy, depending on the business. And yes, I know I'm vague, but we'll dive into this.
Yeah.
Um, but there's really, from my perspective anyway, there's really two sides to this, and it hits every business, regardless of what the business is. It hits every employee, regardless of who you are, where you work, even as an employer. It hits everybody. So let's kind of start for no particular reason. Let's just kind of start with the business. So within the business, there's the hiring of people, and there's I hate to say this word, but there's the
Terminating of them people.
terminating. I was trying to think of a nice word. There really is no nice word.
Yeah.
Um, Workforce reduction. How's that sound? It's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same basic thing.
Yeah. You know what's cool about, and I want to interject real fast because what's cool about this topic was I just had this very conversation twice today, once this morning and once this
Hmm.
afternoon.
Wow.
It's interesting, right? Because this morning we talked about how you hear on the news that, oh my God, we just created thousands of jobs. Well, we have to see where they are, right? I don't see jobs out there. Where are these jobs at, right? And on the flip side, this afternoon, I talked to a young gentleman who just lost his job,
Hmm.
and they gave him no concrete, solid reason of why they let him go. They just let him go. So it's two interesting sides, right? You got the employer side and the employee side.
You'll never know which is the right answer, the right reason, because they both have their pluses and minuses, and somewhere in between is the truth.
You got it.
So, from an employer perspective, to hire the the best people for that job, there's a number of things that a business can do. Doesn't mean you have to, they can do. They can offer competitive or higher wages. If you offer too high, you're stuck with that while the person is there. So while it's an option to hire the person you want, again, from the business perspective, you're giving away. And if word gets out that you're paying a person more than the going rate, then everybody wants the same rate. So again, it's an option. Is it sustainable? Business decision.
Yeah, the slippery slope.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
So then to bring in a person that you want, potentially you could offer them an equity stake in the business. And again, an option. But if you give an equity stake, back to the same thing. How much of an equity stake do you give? If other people find out you gave an equity stake, they want the stake or they're going to leave. How much do you give away because it's your business? What if you give them the stake and they don't perform? Can you take the stake back? So there's all those kinds of things. What if they leave the company? They got to give up that stake in the business. Otherwise, you're gone. So again, something to use as a carrot on the stick, if you will, to hire the right person. You can give them a sign-on bonus. Could be cash, could be maybe that first year you give them an extra week's vacation. First year only. Can't give them, you don't want to give them cash, so give them a week vacation. Let the other employees work harder. Again, the mentality. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying, but these are some of the things employers think.
Yeah.
Um, you could make them a highly compensated and give them different types of benefits. Maybe you could give them, um, again, it's stock options, it's life insurance, it's other things to give them that little extra bump. Again, you're paying for it. Yes, business deductions, but you're still paying for it. So
Sure.
that's an opportunity to bring in the person or persons that you want.
Yeah. And I don't know if we ever talked about this, you and I. I know I've mentioned it in the past and in my past business as the mystery shopping company, strictly mystery shopping
Mm,
for restaurants. This worked. It was the three P's: pay per performance. And
right.
how that worked was I came in, I showed all the employees the report. Here's what it is. Here is the criteria. This is what you do every month, every week, however we had it set up. I come and post that report up. This is how it's ran. The person that was shopped, the person that was on that list, however that worked out, that person was rewarded. Now, it's also a team effort because everything we did was based around everybody. So when the employee won, that team won, they got rewarded. And I think that's a viable, great option because there's no leeway for anybody to say it wasn't fair.
Correct.
Because how did Charlie get, $30 Visa gift card and I get to work overnight? Well, look at the report, and there's concrete written evidence of what happened, right? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a great idea legally to avoid any lawsuits. That program, and you said this already, that program, whatever it is, has to be provided to everybody.
Yep,
Everybody. This way, they all have the same opportunity to make or not whatever those productivity markers are.
yep,
It could be, I don't know, if your sales that you made a certain target. If you're on the phones, how many calls did you make? How many new clients did you bring in? How much did you save on expenses? Whatever your markers are, they have to be open to every single person to be able to hit or not based on their performance. So if you
yeah.
do that, I agree.
Yeah, and it was a
Because
cool thing because as soon as I walked in, they knew who I was. As soon as I walked in, they flocked right to the wall where I'd post that report. Everybody's staring, waiting for me to put it up. Who was it this time? What did we do? What was the numbers? How did we do? Right? They drew excitement. They
Mhm.
loved it. And I was so ecstatic that I got to be a part of that.
Yeah, it is. It's a big deal. And if you can get the employees buy-in, well, you need the employer, but if you can get the employees buy-in to a
Yeah.
program, an employee who has a stake in the company that can get paid for performance
Yep.
will most likely do better.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, I don't mean you, I'm talking general statement. If you
Yeah.
don't have that type of program, which I think is a great suggestion that you came up with or that you made, people just, they work 9 to 5, they come in, they get a check, they go home. Next day,
Yeah.
repeat, repeat, repeat.
Yeah. So
There's no
bland, right? Yeah.
incentive to do better. But if you have incentives that say top line increases, revenue increases by so much, expenses decrease by so much, net effect is higher net income.
I
If
had a guarantee. I had a
no,
guarantee, right?
yeah,
I had a guarantee. When I did the pre-analysis of their business and they were at, say, 76%, I told the owner, I guarantee you a 10% increase within 60 days. Guarantee it.
hmm,
And it worked every time. Many clients went from the 70s, 80s to 96 to 100%
wow,
within 30 days. Yeah.
wow,
That's how I sold it. I sold it as a program to help, not as Big Brother watching. And that's how it worked.
yeah. An employee, again, from my experience, an employee who has a program that they know what to hit, what are the numbers? It's not this vague thing like show up today, smile, go home. The next day, show up, smile, go home. But if you have
Right.
specific targets to hit and your, not necessarily your base pay, but your bonus is based upon those targets,
Yeah.
concrete stuff,
Yeah.
many, many people will say, "Oh, I'm going to do this,"
Mhm.
because now they're getting rewarded for the hard work they do.
Yeah.
A lot of employees say, I'm busting my butt getting the same pay as the person next to me who sleeps all day.
Yep.
And in some cases, that's true. So the person who's busting the butt won't do it much longer. Where's the incentive?
Right.
So I love the idea. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Builds loyalty too, right? Think about loyalty,
mhm,
you know?
yep,
Yeah.
yep. It takes a lot of money and time to train an employee to have them do what you want over and over and over. It really
And to
does.
be good at it. And to be
And
good
to
at
be
it.
good at it. Because if they're not, sorry, I just got a pop up on my screen. Um, I hate
Do
those
not
things.
disturb should be on.
If you're doing it the right way and you truly value your staff, yes, there's a time and a cost to getting them to work the way you want them to. But the other side to that is if, and we've had this talk before, the cost and time of an employee to leave
Yeah.
and then replace them and get them in that same position is much, much more expensive to the company. It could be disruptive to the clients, to the vendors, to whoever you're dealing with. So it's cheaper in the long run, far and away, to do the right thing by a smaller but better staff and keep them there. And this has always been the case forever. But a lot of employees, I'm sorry, a lot of employers, all they want to do is cut cost. But at some point, it does come back and hurt you. It does.
I talked to a waitress the other day, and I won't mention the business because they were actually in my show
Hmm.
in a previous episode. And how ironic, and I talked to this person who actually works there, and she gave me some really, really detailed information as to some problems of what I
Hmm.
experienced on my visit.
Okay.
And you hit it on the head. One of the things that she talked about was he doesn't care about um, certain people and the way they pay their employees because he
Hmm.
said to her, it's okay, I can always find another waitress. Doesn't matter. It's
Ooh,
horrible because sure you can find another waitress. Why are you going to find another waitress who is as good as her?
mm,
You know,
right,
again, performance, right? So you're going to pay less money for this waitress, this server, shall I say? But are you getting quality serving your guests? Are
correct.
those guests going to return? That's the biggest thing here is
Mhm.
I come to your business. If you don't wow me, I'm not coming back.
Correct, correct. In a small town where there's maybe a very small number of places to eat. Yeah, again, I'm not saying it's right, but you
Yeah.
only got a small number of places to eat. So even if service is not top notch, you can only go so many places. You come to a place like New York where you could have thousands of places to eat. In a square block, you could have 10, 12 places in one square block. So yeah, you have to do the right thing because in one of your episodes, I don't know if it was one of your episodes or certainly a couple of your posts, you put something out there that said, when you go into an establishment, listen to how the employees talk to each other
Yes.
because that will give you a good indication of how they talk to their customers.
Yep.
So a happy employee or a relatively happy employee, depends how you define happy, right? But a
Let me change
relatively
that.
happy employee who gets along, who helps each other, who covers for each other, and they work as a team will tend to do better and have better relationships, better repeat customers, better gratuities, better everything from the customers. And that's what you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. Either I already posted this one or I have it coming up. I know I've seen it in my list.
Mm,
I'm a big believer in when I walk into an establishment, I can tell you within seconds what kind of experience I'm going to have.
wow.
Yeah. No lie.
Mm,
And it's amazing because when you walk in, you can see how all the employees are interacting as you walk in. You
mm,
see how the hosts, the servers running around. Do you see a manager, right? And you can get that vibe as soon as I walk in. I can look at I because I'm that's my detail, right? As soon as I walk
mm.
in, I see everything, and I can tell you within seconds what kind of experience I'm going to have. And I'm 99.999% right.
Wow.
Amazing.
It's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's something obviously, you have to build up over time, but it makes sense when you
Yeah.
can, it- and you had posted, before, you walk into a place, is the floor clean? Are the signs right? You look at the bathroom, and it really
Yeah.
does tell a lot about the employee, the employer. Do they
Yeah.
really care? Because a clean,
Yeah.
neat facility
Yeah.
tends to continue on through the staff into the customers.
Yeah, yeah, I had one I was going to post yesterday talking about the door handles and things like that. I
Mm,
think it's pretty obvious. I didn't post it because I think it's a pretty obvious one that I think all of us know if you grab a door handle of an establishment and you grab it and go, ew, there's something wrong with that place.
yeah.
They're not paying attention to detail. And one good thing I want to say real fast, I don't want to take all the time. When I was at that establishment where I was talking to that server, I didn't have to check the restroom because when I was there, it was being cleaned while I was there.
Hmm.
I've never seen that in every visit I've done in probably 25 years. I've never walked into an establishment where the bathroom was being cleaned while I was there. Isn't that, that's amazing, right? Always had to check. I always had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Whether it's male or female, one of them
Hmm.
has to be checked to see because both are going to be pretty much close to each other. If they're not being cleaned, or are they being cleaned? They usually do them together. So, but
Yeah.
it was amazing. I walked up and said, well, check it off the list. One less thing to worry about. It
Right.
was being cleaned as I was there.
There are restaurants, and I can only tell you the few that I have been in, but there are restaurants that on the back door, so when you're inside and you close the door, on the back of the door, there's a little holder, if you will, And there's a schedule day by day of the times and who cleaned the restaurant
Yeah.
to know that it's being done on a certain schedule to keep it clean.
Yeah.
And to your point, that's a big deal to know that if they're taking care of the restroom, then they're
Yeah.
likely taking care of the rest of the place too. So your food is better. Well, I shouldn't say better, it's better maintained, but whatever that goes with that. Because
Yeah.
I'm not in that business, so I can't really say.
Yeah.
But chances are if one's clean, the rest are in better shape as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One last point about that. There was a major chain around the world
Mm-hmm.
that where I kind of visit frequently.
Mm-hmm.
There is someone who owns multiple establishments of this major chain.
Mm-hmm.
And in every bathroom and on every wall, they have a sign that says, this businesses are owned by us. You have any problems, you reach us
Nice.
and management. To me, that says a lot about how you want to run your business.
Yes.
And
Yes.
as a customer, I am not afraid to go there and eat ever because of that, I know they care,
Right. Right.
you know?
If you're going to put your name on the wall, yeah,
Right?
you care. You do.
Yeah,
Nice. I
1000%.
like it. I like
Yeah.
it.
And I'll tell you who that was off air.
Off air. Yes. Do not do
You
that on
will
there. Okay.
you will be surprised. I'm telling you,
Okay.
it's amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Off
Let's
air.
let's let's yeah, let's get off of me here. Let's get back on to you a little bit about this because we kind of got away. We gotta give you some time on the camera here and talk about how this all ties to C's business,
All
man.
right. So we're going to go a little bit before we get into that. Um, so we talked a little bit about the employer. From the employee side, they, and I think I said this once or twice before, many, many years ago when I worked offshore, that particular city, different country, different city, they did a survey and they asked 20,000 people. It was in the IT space. 20,000 people. What is the number one thing you look for from your employer? And then they showed the top five. Number five was money. The first four, and I forget the order, but the first four was recognition, promotional opportunities, educational, teamwork, all the things around recognize me as a person, recognize me as somebody who cares about your company. Don't recognize me as a number because the company has 25,000 people. I'm not number one, two, three, four, five on the payroll system. I have a name. That's what that showed. So as an employee, you want to be recognized. You want to be told that you're valuable. Again, provided you are, okay, obviously, but people
Great
want to
point.
be, okay, I mean, let's be realistic, right? But if you're doing the job and you're working hard, be told, be recognized in front of the rest of the company, or at least your division, your group, your team, your something. Let it be known that, yeah, Chuck is doing a great job, and here's why. Because then the motivation is other people will say, wait a minute, Chuck got recognized. What about me? So now I'm going to do that extra because I want to be up in the front next week, next month, whenever that next recognition is. So that's a big deal. So from a financial perspective, employees want a fair pay. They want whatever perks they can get. So it could be the vacation. It could be, so many sick days. Could be they want a retirement plan. Could be any number of things they want as additional compensation for. Because yes, it's nice to be recognized, but let's be realistic. Being recognized does not pay your rent or mortgage. Being recognized does not pay your car payment, your food bill, credit card payment, whatever you got to pay. So you really got to have both. And in an ideal world, and it does exist out there, the employer and employee both come together and realize, let's really talk. And what does it take to be successful. And they come up with a plan. And if everybody does their part, and we know people have days that they're really good and they have days that they're really distracted. I was there, I get it.
You're human. Yeah.
But that's also part of the team concept.
Mhm.
So if one day Steve has a bad day or one day Chuck has a bad day, the team helps. They fill in. There's a story I've told, I think, a couple of times. Early 2000s, I worked for a company. Won't tell you which one, although I'm sure somebody could figure it out. And I had a team in front of me, and they had to be on the computers doing what they were doing all day long. And one woman, now we're talking like a whole bunch of years ago, so the names have changed to protect the innocent and all that stuff. But this one woman, she came in at 9 in the morning, all frazzled. What's the matter? I mean, she was there for a while, so we got to know each other. What's going on? Well, she had to get to the airport for an overseas flight with her family. And if she stayed past a certain hour in the day, she was going to miss the flight. So she would have not gone with her family. She would have had to book another ticket. It was just a nightmare. So I took her to the side and I said, okay, this is like 9 o'clock in the morning. And I took her to the side and I said, okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to give me your ID and password to your computer. And every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, I will go sit at your desk. I'll move the cursor. I'll pull up another website. I'll do what I got to do to make it look like you're there. And you will go get your bag and you will leave right now and you will go meet your family and get on that flight. The team picked up for her whatever work she was doing that day. She made her flight. And when she came back, she told the team what I did. And that team from that day on had amazing loyalty because they understood I went above and beyond and I helped them for something that really mattered to her and the family. And I did little things for different people, 1 week this, 1 week that, different person here and there. But if you do it right and you recognize somebody as a person, not just as an employee and a number, it does work. It
Yeah.
really does work.
Yep. Back in my corporate customer service days, they just want to time off the phone. I gave them 10, 15 minutes. They were like a new person when they came back. Kid you
Mhm.
not. It was amazing. It's amazing what you can get done if you really care about your people.
Yeah.
Even though we have a tough economy, even though we have, inflation kicking us right now, and and
Mhm.
and we're dealing with a lot, and as not even just Americans, as around the world, and I think if we learn to understand that we're all human
Yeah.
and how we relate to each other rather than having so much hate, I think working together, teamwork makes the dream work. Well, we say it all the time,
It does.
and I think really if we can stick to that policy and just know that how can I help you relieve some burden off your shoulders so you can be refreshed, repowered, re-energized, so you can come back and hit it 100 times better. And I'm sure
Yeah.
that employee probably came back and worked just as hard, if not harder, than she did when she left. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It comes back to treating people the right
yeah,
way.
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
The most valuable asset a company has is not their clients, it's their staff. You could have a million clients, you could be making $1 zillion.
Yeah.
But if you don't
That's
have a
one thing I hate. It's one thing I hate to hear when I heard that, server talking the way she did about how her boss felt about the employees, and it really
Mhm.
it made me sink because that's not what you want. And I
Mhm.
said to her, I don't know if I can help
Mm.
your business because it doesn't sound like your boss wants it,
Mm.
you know? And I'm not going to waste my time and my company's time to
Right.
go out there to do something that he might not care about. Oh yeah, it's all nice and whatever. Get back to work, people. To go to your job. I don't care. And I also found out that he is charging 10% more to the customers if you come into his establishment at night. Yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So what I wanted to do was go during the day, do a new visit, go
Mhm.
at night and do a visit with the same exact menu that I wanted,
Mm.
and then compare the difference and say and prove to people this is real. He's really doing this. Amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. And really call him out on the shenanigans that these companies are doing to people today. If you want loyal people, man, that's not the way to do it.
No.
Loyal people stick with you if you take care of them, you know,
Correct.
even
Correct.
through hard times. You got to spend money to make money. And that
Oh,
these people need
absolutely.
to understand that is that the economy is tough right now. And I understand it. If you're in a restaurant business, your profit margins are probably really tiny. And I
Yeah.
get it. But if you can have loyal people who will have a great experience for your customers,
Mm.
if I come in there, have a great time, I'm gonna tell 10 people and
Yeah.
we're coming back there. I don't
Right.
care if I'm spending $40 for a meal, I'm bringing 120 with me.
Mm.
Boom. You know,
Yeah.
they don't see it that way. They see it as I gotta tighten up, tighten up, tighten up, do more with less. We only have one server tonight. So run around and do all the tables. We ain't hiring anybody because they can't afford it. Boom.
The
You know,
customer experience is key.
it is. It really is.
So, yes, your team can make or break you,
Yeah.
but if you don't have the right team or you don't treat them right, then your customers won't come in. So you can have a
Yeah.
great team, but no revenue.
Yeah.
Then
Yep.
what are
I'm
you
sure
doing?
it works the same on your business, right? I mean, if you don't have a great team that's spot checking everything, you know,
Yeah.
dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure everything is in line, the numbers look
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Yeah,
There's a
it's a lot.
whole process that we go through
Yeah.
when we meet somebody new. There's a whole process we go through. And regardless of who that potential client is, everybody goes through the same process.
Yeah.
They
That's
need to
awesome.
have the same experience, the same opportunity to be
Yeah.
educated, to choose what they want, to do what they want. We can only offer options, but everybody gets the same customer experience. Now, yes, the words may change slightly because we're not robots. We're not remembering a script word for word for word. But if the concept is there and the person is educated and goes through the second step and the third step and the fourth step, they're
Right.
all done the same way.
Yeah.
And it has to be that way.
Yeah. Especially in your industry because it's so one number wrong could really break a deal.
Yeah.
So crucial.
It
So
is
crucial.
so regulated. There was a thread on Facebook today that I happened to have come across. Was it? No, I'm sorry. It was on LinkedIn. And it doesn't even matter who did it because I don't remember anymore. But it was just comment after comment after comment. And people were bashing each other about the business.
Yeah.
And I don't normally do this, but I put my 2 cents in and I said, don't we all care about the customer? Beating
Right.
each
They
other
come
like we're
first.
doing in this thread is not
Yeah.
helping people to feel comfortable about the industry.
Especially
Doesn't
if they
matter
read
who
it.
you are, doesn't matter what company you work for. When
Yeah.
people in the industry are bashing each other, it's giving it a bad reputation.
Yep.
Slow it down. Yes, we all work different companies. We all do things slightly different. As long as it's legal, it's okay.
Right.
Um, but slow it down. We're all
Yep.
part of the same, whether you want to admit it or not, we're part of the same team. We're all part of the same human race. Would you beat
That's
somebody
right.
up because their nose is too big, their ears are too high, they have no hair? I mean, would you beat somebody up just for that?
Yep.
Probably not. So why are you doing it now?
Right. Yep.
And yeah,
Yeah. All right. 516-727-2294. Reach out to Steve, man.
man, reach out to Chuck at 410-935-6132.
Yes, sir. I hope we get some comments on this one because I really want to hear people's thoughts about what we talked about. because it's definitely a good topic. It probably hits all of us at one point. You know, we've all experienced this,
Yeah,
especially when the economy's tight and when
yeah, yeah.
inflation's hitting us
Yep.
and we're struggling, you know.
I would love to hear people's comments on, and again, no names, no company names, just generic. Um, what are you seeing? Do you find that the employees get along? The employer values their employees? I mean,
Yep.
we'd love to get different opinions on what's working and what's not where you
Yep.
are.
Hey, great episode on Friday at 4 because
It's 4 o'clock somewhere.
awesome. Steve, enjoy the rest of the day, man. Have a good night, buddy.
You too. Thanks, Chuck. Take it
See ya.
easy.
Take
Bye.
care.
You've been watching the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent. Thanks for watching.